So I want to thank everybody for being here tonight, y'all. So give yourself a big shout out, a big hug. Y'all doing the thing in community, and I so appreciate y'all being here, and we so appreciate y'all being here. My name is Chris Nguyen, and I'm the program manager at the Mandela Family Resource Center here in West Oakland, and I sit in honor and in community with you all as well. This is the third year of the Oakland Early Learning Symposium, y'all, and the first event of this particular school year. So welcome, we're making history tonight, y'all. We want to thank all of those who have joined us over the last 3 years, whether it was at our inaugural event in 2019, which was in person, or last year at one of our 4 Zoom events through how we're connecting now. Pretty amazing, y'all. So last year we started informal Zoom gatherings in the evenings called Let's Talk Early Learning. We had 3 wonderful facilitators, Nina Humphrey, Annette Wright, and Jaquita Wallace, who have made these events fun and informative. Keep an eye out for the next one as well, most likely in December, y'all. At the Let's Talk we held in September, we heard from childcare providers and preschool teachers, and this year has continued, and we heard this be a challenge, and we have young children who have not been separated from family, and in some cases their entire lives, right? But at childcare and at preschool for the first time, families who have, experienced trauma from the pandemic and economic stress are really going through it right now. And early learning professionals, you all, continue to have to deal with COVID-19 and the restrictions necessary for in-person learning. So again, just shout out to all of our providers on here tonight, and even the ones who couldn't make it. Really salute to all of y'all. It's been a lot. So tonight's session, y'all, we're gonna get into it, is structured to give you practical tips on how to promote social emotional learning and in your classroom and childcare areas using books as a tool. Now, I know we're running a little bit behind on time, and I acknowledge that. Now, so for more background and housekeeping, we're gonna kick it to Savita Murthy of Tandem Partners in Early Learning, who is co-facilitating with me tonight. Savita.
Thank you, Chris. And hello and welcome, everybody. It's so great to see you all. Thank you all for being here. My name is Savita Murthy, and I'm the Executive Director of Tandem Partners in Early Learning. We're a small but mighty nonprofit working at the intersection of social justice and early childhood education. It's our great honor to be serving the Oakland community. Now, our mission is to partner with families and educators and communities to co-create equitable, high-quality early learning experiences. I know there are some of you in the audience that are familiar with our programs, and our flagship program is Story Cycles. And those of you in Oakland, City of Oakland Head Start, OUSD, you might be familiar with this program because you're using it in your classrooms. And the mission of this program is to bring books and early learning materials to children and families. At the heart of our work is an amazing book collection. We have 1,600 titles in our collection. Many of our books feature really diverse and uplifting representation of children and families and communities of color. And the majority of our books are written and illustrated by authors and artists of color. Now at Tandem, we believe that books are contexts and opportunities for children and the grown-ups in their lives to have rich, wonderful, meaningful conversations, and that books that reflect children's experiences are a resource that help children make sense of their emotions and their feelings and develop the vocabulary and the tools for healthy social interactions. So I'm so excited that our event today is so wholeheartedly centered on books and how we can use books for children's social emotional learning. Now we have an amazing lineup of speakers lined up for you. But before we get to that, I want to do a little bit of housekeeping for this meeting. First of all, we're going to have specific times for questions for the speakers. So if you have a question during the Q&A, which we'll get to at the end of all this, once the speakers have all shared their stories and their books, please use the raise the hand feature by clicking on the participant button, and then you'll have the opportunity to speak come off mute and then say your question out loud. You can also ask questions in the chat. We'll do our best to answer all the questions, but some of them may need follow-up. And so please note that we're recording all the questions in the chat and in our conversations, and we'll be putting together a comprehensive question and answer document that will be sent out after the meetings. This meeting is being recorded and will be shared. The recording will be shared with participants, as will the Google slide presentation that you're seeing. So please keep that in mind as you participate. Also, we want to capture some of this event through screenshots. So if you don't want to be photographed, please keep your video off. We will not be taking screenshots in the breakout rooms. And just in general, you don't need to have your video on right now, but you may turn them on during the small breakout sessions happening later in this event. Quick reminder on Zoom etiquette, please keep yourselves muted when you can and save your questions for the Q&A portion of the agenda. And you can do this by clicking the microphone icon in your toolbar. We know that many of you joining us today will be receiving professional development credits, and these certificates will be emailed out to you right after today's event. Many of you were able to pick up the amazing bag of books at Tandem this week, and it was wonderful to see some of you come through and meet you in person. So we hope that you have those books on hand tonight and that you'll enjoy them going forward. If you weren't able to pick up the books this week, no worries. We have other pickup times next week at Tandem on Monday, November 22nd and Tuesday, November 23rd from 10 to 5 p.m. So if I didn't get a chance to see you this week, I hope to see you next week. Now, before we get started, the Oakland Starting Smart and Strong team wants to thank the Rainin Foundation and the Packard Foundation for supporting this symposium. There are many organizations throughout Oakland that have also played a key role in making this event happen, and they're all listed here. Thank you, partners. And now, before we get started, I want to be sure to take a moment for all of us to honor the native lands on which we live. And so we'll begin our evening with a land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that we are here today on the ancestral homeland of the Ramaytush, Ohlone, Mwekama, and the Chochenyo, who are the original inhabitants of the San Francisco Bay Area and the first indigenous owners of this land. As guests, we recognize that we benefit from living and working on their traditional homeland. I'm going to pass it over to Chris.
Absolutely.
To do a word cloud with us.
Absolutely, absolutely. So thank you so much for that, Savita. It's so important that we honor our Indigenous brothers and sisters, especially this month, as we acknowledge the stolen land that we sit on, and we acknowledge the beautiful peoples of our Indigenous people. And for me, coming from Oakland, California, shout out to the Ohlone people as well. So before we get started tonight and center us, we want to get to a place where we think and encourage ourselves to really dive deep into social emotional learning with the young people that we work with. So if you click on the link in the chat or go to menti.com, it will take you to a web page that will ask you questions, and the results of what everyone enters will show up on the screen. So as you can see in the slide as well, the slide provides directions. So let's go ahead and take just a moment to listen to some music and go to the word cloud. And the question is, y'all, when you think of your favorite childhood book, what are some of the words that come to mind? Wonderful. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. I see family, playfulness, love. Yes, yes, absolutely. Joy. Joy, right? When we read books, we have joy. We have fun. Happiness. Absolutely. Keep on coming. These are some amazing, amazing answers. Absolutely. I love it. I love it. Maybe 10 more seconds or so. keep them coming, y'all. Interesting. Oh, I love that word. Interesting. Absolutely. And I'm lifting up some things in the chat as well. I see knowledge and special. I see family and peace, and joy and closeness. Memories. Thank you, Raquel. Absolutely. Memories, y'all. Family and love. Yes, I see a lot of love themes. My parents were love and support, for sure, for sure. And thank you, Isaac. And please continue to add to the Menti Cloud as well. Even though we're going to transition out, please continue to add to the Menti Cloud. And this is a great tool when you're holding space virtually as well to be able to gather community input, right? So thank you so much, everybody. And that's a great way to ground us for what we're going to talk about tonight. And we're going to transition back to Savita, who will introduce us to our first amazing speaker, y'all.
Thanks, Chris. It's my very happy task to introduce us all to Bernadette Zermenio. Bernadette is a multilingual specialist at the Oakland Unified School District. And Bernadette will be reading from the children's book, Jabari Jumps. This was part of the free book set available to all participants. And so if you have that book set with you, this is your opportunity. Go get that book, grab it, and join Bernadette as she talks to us about how we can use Jabari Jumps to reinforce social emotional skills for the children in your care.
Thank you. Good evening. Buenas tardes, everyone. It is such an honor to be here. I'm glowing. You can't see me, but I'm glowing. I see so many beautiful faces and names. So thank you. I'm going to pretend that we are all kids. Okay. And we're going to have so much fun. So I would kick it off. Everyone, let's jump, 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 and stop. Jump, 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 jump. Don't hurt yourself and stop. Hey, we did it. And I'm going to read a book called Jabari Jumps. We just jumped, huh? So fun. This is the cover, and the title is Jabari Jumps. We jumped. The author writes the words. The author writes the words. The illustrator draws the pictures. The author writes the words. Gia Corwall is the author and the illustrator of the book. Okay, everybody think. Think, 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 think. Look at the cover. Okay. What do we think this book is going to be about? Tell someone next to you. If we were in the class, we would tell someone next to you because we want to support that oral language. We want the little ones, even if they say jump. Yes, it is about jumping. Turn and talk, turn and tell someone quick, quick, quick. If no one's around you, you could tell your stuffy. You could tell your hand. Thank you. Ooh, I see you blowing up the chat. Swimming. Thank you. Yeah, it might be about swimming. Look at Jabari. Ooh, how do you think Jabari feels? Do you think Jabari is feeling carefree? Maybe worried? Show me right now, everyone. Show me on your face. How do you think Jabari feels? Show me your face. Ooh, I see Paige's face. I see Nancy's face. Yeah, there's lots of feelings and scared. Before we start reading this book, I want to say that we're going to be talking about a word, scared. Can everyone say scared? Scared. Thank you.
Scared.
Show me on your face. What does a scared face look like? So funny because it's being recorded and someone's going to watch this, right? Okay, scared. And then I want to tell you another word that you might hear. It's called squeeze. Can everybody squeeze? That's to give pressure. Squeeze, 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 and say squeeze. Yes. Okay, and another new word is called surprise. Can everyone say surprise? Thank you. Clap it out. Yes, you did it. Surprise means an unexpected event. Show me a surprised face. Yeah. Hey, Chris, I didn't see your surprise face. You too, because we're being recorded. If I'm being recorded, you too. Okay. Surprised. How does your body feel when you're surprised? Can someone tell me? And right? We're in the classroom, we're with our little 3 and 4-year-olds. Okay, turn and tell your friend next to you, what does your body do? Energetic? Uh-huh. Show your friend next to you what that surprise face looks like. So the kids would turn, right? We want them to engage, we want to build that oral language. Okay, show your friend scared face. Oh, let's get ready to read. Jabari jumps. I think Jabari's feeling very confident. Let's find out. Oh, look. Remember, it's on Zoom, so patience. Jabari's getting dressed, getting ready. I'm jumping off the diving board today, Jabari told his dad. Really? Said his dad. Oh, wow. Jabari is feeling confident. Remember that word confident that we learned? Look at his face. And sometimes when you feel confident, your body kind of gets bigger. Can everybody show me a confident body? Oh, I see you, Nancy. You're right on my screen. So I see you. Confident means that you're feeling good. You're feeling proud. The diving board was high. Everybody show me high. It was high and maybe a little scary. But Jabari had finished his swimming lessons and passed his swim test. Now he was ready to jump. I'm a great jumper, said Jabari. I'm not scared at all. Ooh, look at his face. Can everybody do that face? I see you, Chris. Yes. Okay, turn and tell someone. No one's next to you, but maybe tell your hand to practice. How is Jabari feeling? Turn and talk and tell someone. I think, and you can't see my little sentence frames, but you would have sentence frames for our little ones who are learning and emerging in language. I think Jabari feels excited. Jabari feels maybe proud. Okay, let's find out. Jabari watched the other kids climb up the long ladder. Everybody stand up and climb the long ladder. Go. Oh yeah, we're climbing, we're doing it, we're climbing. Oh, I feel a little nervous. They walked all the way to the end of the board. See, all the way to the end of the board. As big as tiny bugs. Then they stood on the edge. They spread their arms and bent their legs. Okay, don't hurt yourself. Spread your arms, everyone. And bend your legs if you can. How does your body feel? Tell someone next to you. Hurry, tell someone next to you. How does your body feel? I know there's no kids next to you, but you would want your kids. Again, that oral language. And sprang up, up, up. And then dove down, down, down. Splash. Looks easy, Jabari said. But when his dad, squeezed, everyone squeeze? When his dad squeezed his hand, Jabari squeezed back. Oh, why do you think Jabari squeezed back? Have you ever squeezed your mom or dad's hand, or your auntie or your nana's hand? Yeah, you would have them share out, talk. Why did you squeeze your hand? What were you feeling? What was your body feeling? Sometimes when I squeeze a hand, I start getting really hot and red. Does that happen to anybody here? Show me thumbs up. Yeah, and sometimes you know that I have a baby, and when we cross the street, my baby, he squeezes my hand so tight because it's scary, right? To cross the street, especially in Oakland in some places, right? People just go. Jabari stood at the bottom of the ladder and looked up. Everybody look up. Ooh, it looks so tall. Has anybody jumped off a diving board that wants to share? Yeah, I did once. It was scary. It was scary. He looked up and then he said, "Hey, you could go before me if you want," he told the kid behind him. I need to think about what kind of special jump I'm going to do. Go ahead, go before me. Jabari thought and thought. What do you think Jabari's doing? I thought Jabari was ready. Do you think Jabari is ready? What might Jabari be feeling? Sometimes Jabari may be feeling nervous, right? Maybe gaining that courage. Has this happened to any of you? So lots of questions for our little ones, right? Calling out the images as much as possible. I'm not going to finish the book because I want to make sure I honor everyone's time. If you haven't read this book, it's amazing, but we're just calling out feelings, pointing the pictures. And so Jabari doesn't go, he starts stretching. And then dad is so nice. And dad says, you know what? It's okay if you don't go today, maybe tomorrow. And look at this picture right here. So you can't really see it, but Jabari's dad has his hand over his shoulder and says, it's okay to feel a little scared, said his dad. Sometimes I feel a little scared. So the father's acknowledging his feelings. I take a deep breath. Everybody take a deep breath. And tell myself I'm ready. And you know what? Sometimes it stops the feeling scary and it feels like a surprise. Show me that surprise face we showed at the beginning. Yes. Guess what? Jabari loves surprises. So everyone think of a time that you maybe felt scared. How did it stop? What did you do? And then I would draw it, we would write about it, and I'm going to stop here. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Bernadette. I wish we had time for the whole book reading, and you've inspired me to take my copy of Jabari Jumps and crack it open with my son at bedtime. So thank you. And audience, we're going to have a question and answer session after all of our presenters speak. But in the meantime, for those of you that have burning questions for Bernadette, I'll invite you to put your questions in the chat, and Bernadette will be reviewing and responding to them in the chat as we transition to our next speaker. As many of you know, family childcare providers are a critical part of the early care and education system in Oakland, as they are everywhere else in America. My 6-year-old spent 5 years in a family childcare, and I could not think of a better preparation for all the future learning that he's going to do. So we are very, very fortunate today to have Nancy Harvey with us this evening. Nancy is the owner of Little Nancy's Primary Schoolhouse in West Oakland. She's also a fierce advocate for early care and education, not only in Alameda County, but also at the state level. Give it up for Nancy, everybody. And Nancy is going to talk tonight about how she uses books with the children in her care to promote social and emotional learning. I'll turn it over to you, Nancy. Take it away.
Thank you so much. It's so awesome to see so many folks who love doing what I do, and that's working with our little people. I have chosen this amazing book to read, and it's entitled Ambitious Girl. Ambitious Girl. I see someone in the chat saying that they can't hear. Hi, everyone. I see people saying, hi, Nancy. Hi. So good to see you all. Ambitious Girl by Mina Harris. Look at these amazing pictures. Do they resemble some of us here in our class? They look like us, which is so awesome to open up a book and to see that it looks like folks in your class. Let's turn the page. Look at this amazing person. How does she look to you? Does she look scared? Does she look frightened? Does she look strong? Does she look like she has something important to say? Show me how you would say something important. No words, show me. Show me by your face. You're saying something important. I see Chris. Good job, Chris. I'm looking, I see Rosa. Excellent, Bernadette. Come on, providers, where are you? I see you. I see you, Miss Marva. I'm gonna turn the page. Can you all see this? This is hard. Too assertive, too persistent, too ambitious, too loud. Those are really big words, but they're all so meaningful as we travel through our lives as people. How many of you sometimes feel you're being too loud? How many of you feel you're being too ambitious? What does ambitious mean? That's such a big word. That's a long word. Can we say ambitious? Ambitious. Ambitious. Say it like we mean it. Ambitious. We're going places.
I am
Ambitious.
ambitious.
All right. Let's turn the page. Don't let anyone tell you who you are. You tell them who you are. I'm Miss Nancy. I teach at Little Nancy's Primary Schoolhouse. And Chris, who are you?
I am Chris, and I am a manager at the Mandela Family Resource Center.
Wonderful. Miss Marva Lyons, the fabulous Marva Lyons. And who are you?
I am Marva, and I teach at Happy Town Family Child Care.
Wonderful. Jacqueline Gonzalez. And who are you?
I'm Jacqueline Gonzalez, and I'm a doula at BBK.
Whoa. A doula. Woohoo.
Mhm.
Lynn Pham, who are you? You're hiding behind there.
I am Lynn Pham. I am the school teacher. Love to read books to the children.
All right now. Yay. I'm going to turn the page. When I grow up, I hope to be all the things I can see in a world that's changing fast and slow. Show me your fast movement. Show me your fast movement. Show me your fast movement. Okay, then show me your slow movement. Slow like a turtle. Slow like a turtle. All right now. Excellent. A world I'm only beginning to know. You just got here. How old are you? Are you 3? Are you 4? This whole big world. And look, you've only been here 3 years. You've got such a wonderful journey up ahead. Let's turn the page. I want to go, go, go out of the gate. But sometimes all I hear is, wait. How do you feel when someone tells you to wait? Rosa, how do you feel? Hurt? Emily, how do you feel when someone tells you to wait and you really want to go, 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 go?
Upset.
Upset. Sumi, how do you feel when someone tells you to wait and you want to go, 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 go?
Anxious. Very anxious.
Anxious. Matilda, how do you feel when
Surprise.
Surprise?
Yes.
Okay, yes. Let's turn the page. And if I try to resist, if you're to this or if you're to that, those words may try to dim my light, but mommy says that words passed down can build me up to new heights. Standing tall like a soaring tower. Can we stand tall? Can we sit up tall? Sit up tall, like a tower, like a tower. I'm valued. I'm loved. I have purpose, hope, and power. Let me see your power fist. Let me see your power fist. Let me see your power fist. Power, strong, feeling good about yourself. Let's turn the page. Ahead of me, sisters, aunties, mothers have opened so many doors for me. Vote for women, women's right, vote Shirley Chisholm for president. Grandma says you may be the first somebody, but don't be the last. Make space for more. Beautiful illustrations, giving us all positive images of ourselves, of our past, and even of our future. No one can tell me who I am or who I'm meant to be. Auntie says what has always been is all they're able to see. I'll take my time and claim my place and show the world, this is me. This is me. Strong me. Let me see strong you. Let me see confident you. Let me see, I'm gonna take on the world. Let me see what you're meant to really be. Turn the page. Persistent means I won't give up. Assertive means I'm not gonna back down. Confident means I believe in me. Proud means I cheer for us around the world. Show me persistent. Show me that you're not gonna give up, that you're gonna keep going. Let me see how you would demonstrate that. I'm persistent. I'm not gonna give up. Let me see how persistent you are. Excellent. I'm assertive. I'm not gonna back down. Oh no, I can do that. I can be whoever I wanna be. I'm confident. I believe in me. I can do this. Whatever it is I set my mind to. Proud. I cheer around the world. I mean, I'm happy and cheering everyone, whether they look like me or not. Everyone. Let's turn the page. Ambitious means all of that and more. I have goals, but I'm not keeping score. Ambitious girls, we get things done. If life's a race, we're ready to run. If we fall, we get back up. And if we fail, it's a chance to disrupt. No to that or to this will stop what's inside of us from flowering. Too persistent, too loud, too assertive, too confident, too ambitious. From now on, when I hear that to this or to that, I won't mind. It's empowering. It pushes me on. I'll take up space. I'll shout if you please. I'll laugh and I'll play and I'll jump at the sun. I'll wear the words thrown at me and I won't take no from anyone. I'm not afraid to make some noise. I'm more than ready to use my voice. Because there's no to that or to this when it comes to being ambitious. I'm an ambitious girl. The end. Thank you all.
Give it up for Miss Nancy, everybody. Ambitious girls get things done. Miss Nancy, that book could have been about you. Thank you for that inspiring, energizing, invigorating reading. We're so grateful for your leadership over the last so many years. Our audience, we're going to transition in a moment to our next speakers, Gloria and Rose. But before we do that, we're going to take a brief pause to have some Q&A for Bernadette and for Nancy. And so if you all have questions, you can pop them in the chat or you can raise your hand using the raise hand function, and I'll call on you to come off mute and say your question out loud. And while we're waiting for that, Bernadette, there's a question for you in the chat. With
Yeah.
so many questions and asking children to do things, like can they still follow along with the story of the book?
Yes, I believe yes. I don't have any research or evidence to like back it up, but then if I ask them to retell me the story, they're able to. I think children love the interaction and the movement. And I learned from one of my mentor coaches and just developmentally that each page you should have a movement and you should like ask questions, because we know that oral language is really the foundational step to pre-literacy. So if we're asking them questions and engaging, then they're going to remember the story and they'll probably like it a lot. At the end, we do retelling, we do a drama, because that's the way they're practicing that oral language. Great question, Sylvia.
Bernadette, can you talk a little bit about your experience with reading the book with kids in your classroom?
Yes, they love it because, as Nancy said, it mirrors them, right? And I think what I've seen after we read this book, and I know I left everyone in suspense, I wanted to make sure we had enough time. I could keep going too and tell you what we've learned is that, or what I've seen after kids read it, that acknowledging piece of like, it's okay to be scared. And then we know kids, right? They go and they hug each other, even during COVID. They're like, it's okay to be scared. And like, do you need anything? So they're starting to just acknowledge those feelings, whatever it is, and really normalizing that, like, it's okay to be scared if you're a boy. It's okay to take adventures. It's okay to cry. And just building a like solid community and making feelings normal, no matter what they are. So that there's another book in the basket about The Bunny Listens. And please take a moment to read that one, because as adults or just growing up, at least me as a Latina, it's like, okay, we got it. Keep moving, right? And our generation had to keep moving to survive sometimes. We had to adapt. You can't be sad right now. Like, just keep going. So it really acknowledges just listening. And so Jabari did like go to the end, because he had the support of his dad, right? And his dad said, it's okay, we got this. And if you don't got it today, we'll be here tomorrow. So he looked down and he said, I really love surprises. And he took a deep breath and he jumped. And kids, when you have such an interactive book to where they're the authors, they're asking questions with a splash, they remember and they go like, we've seen this, and it's not just me, all of us in this space have seen kids go, remember Jabari jumped, you could do it on the slide. Like, slides are scary. And if you're back in when I was little, we had metal slides that were not safe, and they were like metal poles coming out everywhere. And we're like, you could do it, even though it's hot, like, you got this. And now kids are like, well, Jabari did it. Remember the bird swooped? Like, they use that language. They like continuously remember these stories that guide us. And like the word wall we did at the beginning, it creates these good feelings to where they have a common story, and that the kids look like them. They're diverse in the story and in the people as well. Yay, he did it. He's a good jumper. And everyone was super happy. And guess what? He said, now I'm going to practice a backflip. So it builds that confidence and just normalizing feelings.
Thank you, Bernadette, especially because you left us hanging on the edge of the diving board.
I know.
So thank you for coming back and telling us how the story ended. There are some questions in the chat for both you and for Nancy about the age groups of the children that you read the books to. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Go for it, Nancy. Equity of voice.
Yeah. Yes. Well, in an in-home setting, we have one big circle time that involves toddlers and preschoolers. So ages ranging from 2 to 4. And they all can understand as we, of course, explain along the way. And sometimes, even if they don't quite understand the words, by our behavior, by what we're asking them to do, they see the other children, the older children responding, and then they begin to pick up on the definition of the words or how the story's really going. But the main thing, I think, as a reader is to be really excited about reading, and so that they become interested in reading, and try to build a picture for them so that they can visualize it in their mind. If they close their eyes, can they visualize what you're talking about? Because then I think at that point, we know, aha, they've got the concept, they've got it. So to answer that question and a few other things, that's the age.
Bernadette, can you repeat the song that you started with about the definition of the author and the illustrator?
Okay, it's to the farmer in the dell. So the farmer in the dell, the farmer in the dell. And it's the author writes the words, the author writes the words, the illustrator draws the pictures, the author writes the words. If there
Thank you, Bernadette. And Christine, I see in the chat, Christine asks, what are some tips for preschool age students to get them to come sit down if they're wanderers?
Oh, if they're wanderers. You or me, Nancy. You could go. I just sang if you want.
You know, getting them involved, giving them a prop that they can hold in their hands, perhaps, and that then when you point to them, okay, it's now your turn, you know, and just really bringing them into the story so that they feel a part of it, and then it causes them to, oh, okay, I've got a part, I better pay attention, and it brings them back to the fold, to the group, as I like to say. Wanderers are funny. Yes, we've got plenty of wanderers at Miss Nancy's.
Yeah, and I want to lift up something that Bernadette said about having a movement for every page. Sometimes that's a great way to channel the wandering into some movement. At Tandem, we believe in doing one movement per page if you're doing a read aloud with a whole group of children. And so sometimes having the whole class or the whole group participate in a movement can help with leading the wanderers into your group.
Yeah.
I also want to lift up something that Bernadette and Nancy both talked about the importance of books serving as mirrors, and for children to open a book and see themselves and their lives and their lived experiences reflected in the books. So Bernadette, Nancy, I'm wondering if you can talk a little bit about the books you read and more generally about this concept of books as mirrors.
Yeah. Can I also add in for our language learners, whatever language you're learning, if you add a movement to it, it's going to help like understand new words as well. So that, and if you remember at the beginning for the wanderers, I started with a jump. So you start with something fun. You start with something like, I don't want to wander anymore. I want to go and have fun over there, and everyone's jumping. I want to jump too. So start with a song or movement or dance or something to bring everyone in. And in regards to the mirrors, growing up, there was not a lot of mirrors for me. So I think it's really important not just to have the diversity of books, but also the diversity of stories. And the stories that I was in as a Latina were eating tamales. And it's like, we do more than just that, right? Like, I want to be in a story where I'm like having an adventure like Ramona Quimby and things like that. And now we have so many different books. So it's just also like honoring the family's voices and being like, what books mean a lot to you, and bring them in different languages as well.
I can't express enough how important it is to open a book and see yourself. I'm almost 60 years old, and I remember when I went to elementary school back in the day, as they say, if there were very few books that had African American children in them. So I'm kind of a guru of that. I gravitate to books that display our multiculturalism, and we have the wonderful benefit here in the Bay Area of having that. We're not in middle America where it's just white and black, but we have everybody here. And we try to teach that not only in the books, but the dolls that we have in our child care, the puppets that we might have, everything, every opportunity that we can to make sure that every child is feeling represented. And that, of course, is building their self-esteem. I chose this book because this book really is about self-esteem, right? And that is what propels children to move forward and to feel successful. If they feel successful, they become successful because it's already in them. And we give them that foundation in our environments by making sure that they're comfortable, they're confident in what they do, and that we can encourage them. And you know, with a book like this, you can use this everywhere. You can use this at the breakfast table. Oh, Jamil, I love how you used your napkin today. You can use it in the bathroom. Good job. You remembered to wash your hands. You can use it in circle time. Thank you so much for being so polite and kind to your friend and giving them a hug. These are things that we say to them, not only 1 or 2 times, but throughout the day, and reminding them that it is your job to care for your neighbor and to love your neighbor as yourself. And also in doing so, it makes not only you feel good, but it makes your friend feel good and loved and cared for. And that too is empowering for your friends. So mirroring is so important. It builds self-esteem, and that's what we want to do with all of our children.
Thank you, Bernadette and Nancy. At Tandem, we talk a lot about books being mirrors, which reflect the lived experiences of children in our care. And we also talk about books as windows, which are opportunities for children to learn about the others and the lived experiences of others in their community. And then we talk about sliding doors, books that help children travel to places that they can only go to in their imagination. So thank you for talking to us about books as mirrors and books as windows. We're now going to transition to our last speaker. And we have with us tonight, Gloria Martinez, who is with the City of Oakland Early Head Start program. And Gloria is going to talk to us about reading with very, very young children who are not yet able to respond to the questions that we might be asking them, respond verbally to the questions that we might be asking them. Take it away, Miss Gloria.
Yes, good evening, buenas noches a todos. My name is, of course, Gloria Martinez, and I work for the City of Oakland West Grand Early Head Start. I'm a center director, and we are currently serving like 24 children from the ages of 4 months all the way to 2.7 years. As we all know, in the early years, children are learning to recognize and manage their feelings and develop social skills. And reading book is a wonderful way to teach these skills. Again, our program, we have books everywhere. Each classroom, they have bookshelves. And we read them indoors, we read them outdoors, and we have a variety of we have a good collection of books that deal with social behaviors and feelings. And I want to share you one of them, which is the Feelings book. And I'm going to read to you. The Feelings book by Todd Parr. Sometimes I feel silly. Sometimes I feel scared. Sometimes I feel like standing on my head. Sometimes I feel like reading a book under the covers. Sometimes I feel lonely. Sometimes I feel like celebrating my birthday, even though it's not today. And sometimes with Play-Doh, that's what we do with children. Sometimes I feel brave. Sometimes I feel like looking out the window all day. Sometimes I feel like dancing, and we do put a lot of music for children to dance. Sometimes I feel like holding hands with my friend. Sometimes I feel like making mud pies. Sometimes I feel like having a tummy ache, and they do tell us, I want to go home. Sometimes I feel cranky. We get those children too. Sometimes I feel like staying in the bathtub all day. Sometimes I feel like camping with my dog or my cat. Sometimes I feel like crying. We do have children who cry, and we hold them and we give them hugs. Sometimes I feel like trying something new. Sometimes I feel like yelling really loud. Sometimes I feel like eating pizza for breakfast. Sometimes I feel like dressing up. Sometimes I feel like kissing a sea lion. But no matter how you feel, don't keep your feelings to yourself. Share them with someone you love. Love, Ted. As you can see, these are wonderful books that we have at West Grand, and I'm sure, you know, at every site, you know, that we have Head Start, we have wonderful social emotional books that we use with our children. And then another thing with our infants, you know, normally they sit on our laps and they love, it doesn't matter the age, they love to hear us, you know, read books to them. And, you know, it's a way for us to bond with them and also build trust, you know, with the caregiver. So it amazes me how, you know, how much children enjoy reading books. And I want to thank you for listening.
Thank you for that reading, Gloria. We're going to take questions from the audience for Gloria, and I'll get us started with one of my own. So the children that you're reading to are very young children.
Yes,
They
ma'am.
don't yet have very well-developed verbal skills. And so can you talk a little bit about how you build interaction with children who are not yet speaking or speaking very fluently?
You find that it's very interesting. Even like, so I have infants, young tots, and toddlers. So in toddlers, they do have verbal skills, but maybe 2-word sentence. But those that do not, they have their own library. So they literally just go over there, crawl or walk, and they hand you a book. So they give it to you, and that they're, without even saying, you know, read to me, but they are showing you, here, you know, I want to join with you, come. And that's when we put them on our lap and we read to them. Sometimes the babies, they're just tapping the book, and then we just turn the pages. And sometimes we just see, you know, based on what we see on the pictures, that's what, you know, we're telling a story. So it doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, we don't have to necessarily read every word, but just what do we see in the book? And it's the sharing time. It's the, you know, the bonding that we're doing with the young ones. And you could, again, you'll be surprised that when we have story time on Wednesday, they go in front of you, and as we are sitting with the book, they literally come and they sit down. Circle time. Yeah. It's amazing to see it.
Thank you, Miss Gloria. There's lots of love for you in the chat, lots of love for the book in the chat. And people are talking about how your smile shows the joy that you bring to your classroom every day.
Yes,
And I believe it.
well, it's, again, it's a mirror. I see their love and it mirrors. So yes, we love working with our young ones. And I want to include all the teachers. I see many of them that join us. So I want to say thank you for all the work that you do. And again, books are everywhere. And children have access, and it's at their level too. So they can just crawl or walk, and they go and grab a book. Miss Rose, you're here.
Yes, I'm sorry. I couldn't get in.
And then I'll transition to Miss Rose.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm sorry I'm late, but I couldn't get in. Well,
Good
anyway,
evening.
my name is Rose McCauley, and I am with the Early Childhood Program. I work with children ages 18 months to 24 months. And I'm with the City of Oakland Early Head Start Program. And I feel that reading books help children to develop patience and concentration, making them better at conversation and conflict resolution. In the early years, children are learning to recognize and manage feelings, develop social skills, and practice both in their friendships. Modeling appropriate behaviors and providing cues helps children to develop positive social emotional skills. I also feel that books are a good way of teaching children social emotional skills because they can relate to the children in the stories that are read to them. This is my go-to book here. If you can see it, when the children come in, sometimes they're crying. So I'll go to this book, and this is a favorite page here. And it says, would you like a hug? Or do you want me to hold you? So I usually hold the children when they're crying, and it relaxes them, and I have them to, say, calm down, calm down. And I give them a hug. I love to hold the children, and I'm the one that spoils them, but that's what I do. And they love to sit and read books. And we do sit and hold them and read books to them, sometime one-on-one. And we have story time on Wednesday, like Miss Gloria says. And the children really enjoy the stories that we read to them. They learn a lot from the stories that we read to them. They learn how to get along with each other. They learn how to relate to the teachers in the center and the other children. So that's basically it. And I love working with those babies. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Rose, and thank you for joining us. And thank you for that great presentation from both Ms. Gloria and Ms. Rose, talking to us about just how important it is to be reading with children from a very young age. Chris, I'm going to pass it over to you so you can roll us into those breakout rooms.